Hi, welcome to Nanyang Education's Primary School Problem Sum series, where we go through upper primary problem sum techniques. In this video, we'll be covering part 3 of our series, Constant Difference. This is our second video, Ratios, and we will go through the basic techniques for this topic. Under our problem sum technique playbook, we have 10 different techniques to go through, and this is just our third topic, so don't forget to follow us for more updates on the next few videos. So for this video, the lesson plan will be as such. First, we'll cover a basic question with a step-by-step guide. Next, we have another basic question for you to attempt on your own. And lastly, to really test your understanding, we have an intermediate question for you to try on your own. Without further ado, let's jump right in. So let's read our first question. Candace was 28 years old when her son Derek was born. How many years later will Derek be a third of her age? So our first step will be to draw a before change after table with their differences being constant. Now usually it's a constant difference question when age is involved. So we first write down the ratio of Candace and Derek. Before that, Candace was 28 years old and Derek 0 years old. So that's our ratio. The change is unknown for now. And after, Candace will be 3 unit years old and Derek 1 unit because Derek is a third of his mother's age. Now we look at the difference. On the before row, the difference is 28 years, and after, it is 2 units. So step 2, by comparing their differences, we can find 1 unit. So as said before, since this is a constant difference question, 2 units is equals to 28. So 1 unit is 28 divided by 2, 14. Now with 1 unit, we can solve the number of years it takes for Derek to reach 1/3 of his mother's age, which is 1 unit. And the time passed will be 1 unit equals to 14. So that's our answer. 14 years later, Derek will be a third of Candace's age. So now let's do a recap. Our first step would be to draw a before change after model with their difference being constant. Next, we compare their difference and we find 1 unit. And lastly, with 1 unit, we can easily solve the question. Now that we have learned how to do the questions, let's attempt another one. Edward had $39 while Freddie had $27. After they both bought a calculator, Edward had thrice Freddie's money. How much money did the calculator cost? Feel free to pause the video and attempt the question. You can resume once you're ready. Alright, so our first step will be to write down the ratio of Edward and Freddie. Before, it will be $39 and $27. We don't know how much the calculator costs, so that's our change. It's unknown. And after that, Edward had thrice Freddie's money. So Edward will have 3 units and Freddie 1 unit. Next, let's look at our difference. Since they both bought the same calculator, difference stays the same. On the before row, difference would be $12 and after would be 2 units. That way we can equate that as 2 units equals to $12. So 1 unit equals to $12 divided by 2, $6. Now we can find out the cost of the calculator. Let's look at Freddie's money. Before, he had $27 and after that, 1 unit dollars. That would be $27 minus $6 and the calculator costs $21. So that's our answer. Now let's try an intermediate difficulty question. Gary had $12 more than Helen. After they each bought a $5 meal, Gary has twice the amount of money Helen had. How much money did they have before the meal in total? Feel free to pause the video and attempt the question. You can resume once you're ready. Alright, So our first step will be to write down the ratio of Gary and Helen's money. Before, we don't know how much money they each have. However, we know that Gary had $12 more than Helen, so that's the difference. Our change is they each bought a $5 meal, so both of them minus 5. Now, Gary had twice the amount of Helen's money, so the ratio would be 2 units is to 1 unit. Their difference would then be 1 unit. Since they each bought the same meal, the difference stays the same, so we can equate 1 unit equals to $12. Now we can find out how much money Gary had before the meal. It is 2 units plus $5, which is $24 plus 5, $29. Next we find out how much money Helen had before, which is 1 unit plus $5 equals to $12 plus $5, $17. Now simple enough, we can just find out the total number of money they had before the meal. $29 plus $17, $46. So that's our answer. They had a total of $46. Did you get it? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Bye!